Saturday was definitely a night to remember. Guam Election Commission precinct officials got right to work as the polls closed at 8 and ballot boxes began arriving at the University of Guam Fieldhouse. Before 2 in the morning, GEC's tabulation machines printed out its final summary report, where it was discovered only 21,179 votes were cast. This means only 43% of Guam's registered voters exercised their right to vote. But was low voter turnout expected? GEC Chairman John Terlahi and former Vice Speaker Joanne Brown say yes.
Not many of the races were contested, especially in the senatorial side. The villages that had contested mayoral races were the villages that had a higher percentage come in, of course. And we had some villages up to 70% were contesting the mayoral election. But then we have villages that had no mayoral races that maybe came down less than 30%.
Well, I think pretty much when you have a primary election and during a non-gubernatorial year, you're not going to get the large voter turnout during the primary. Certainly during a gubernatorial year, if you're supporting a certain team and in the primary election, a lot of people come out for that. So it was not unexpected. I mean, these primaries are pretty much party elections.
Here's the unofficial results for the senatorial race. On the Republican side, Senator Eddie Cabell received the most votes, followed by Senators Jim Espaldon, Ray Tenorio, and Frank Blas Jr. Three-time senatorial candidate Tello Taidagui came in at number 5, followed by Senator Frank Ishizaki, former Speaker Mark Forbes, former Attorney General Doug Moylan, Senator Jesse Lujan, and finally Dr. Dennis Borja. Switching gears to the Democratic side, former Senator Frank Uggan Jr. was the top vote-getter, with Senators B.J. Cruz, Ben Pangilinan, and Judy Wampat right behind him. Former Senator Tom Adik came in 5th, followed by Senators Rory Respicio, Tina Muñoz-Barnes, Adolfo Palacios, Dr. David Shimizu, and Dr. Judy Guthertz. Newcomer Joseph Leon Guerrero placed number 11, followed by Guam Federation of Teachers President Matt Rector, Education Policy Board member Rosanna San Miguel, Robert Benavente, and Felipe Cruz. Newcomer Luis Dueñas came in last at number 16. For the congressional race, 75% of voters chose Madeline Berdalio to represent Guam in our nation's capital, while newcomer Jonathan Diaz received 25% of the votes. And while the majority of the candidates on the ballot are Democrats, Brown says don't count Republicans and returning politicians out just yet.
There's no doubt there's going to be change in terms of a few incumbent seats, probably a minimum of 2 in November. So I wouldn't get too overly confident, even if I was an incumbent. If you're not one of the top 4 in either party, you want to get out there and work as hard as you possibly can to get your message out to the community and your name and let the people know why they should vote for you.
As for the results of the mayoral side of the election, keep in mind not all the districts are represented. The GEC must also sort through a list of write-in candidates before releasing its final results. Again, these results are still unofficial and need to be certified. As to when it will be done, we spoke to GEC Board Chairman John Terlahi on Saturday to get the answer.
I know there's some write-in candidates, so we're going to have to wait until that's done. Hopefully by the end of this week, coming week, there's 20-some thousand ballots to go through. So.